let's keep it in the we'll keep it in the present. I want to actually, as I say that, I want to go back and I want to stat correct or like mini update because the roster update videos are still coming out on the channel. And like, it's funny. I'm looking at Josh Hoover's odds on FanDuel to win the Heisman. It's not that big of a deal, but he dropped from plus 1,000 to plus 1,100, which I thought was pretty funny.
Value.
I think that coincided with the fact that he was listed at like 6 foot 194 when we reviewed the rosters last week, and then on like Thursday or Friday he's back to like 6'2", which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, watching him on film, it didn't surprise me that he came out at 6 foot. I mean, he's definitely like an undersized quarterback. He's not as tall as Mendoza, basically. Is what I'm saying by undersized, right? Put it in quotes.
I think it's irrelevant. I just thought that was
undersized in air quotes.
I just wanted to point that out as they did update it on the website. And then obviously the other thing that people were freaking out about was Tyler Cherry. And Tyler Cherry is now officially on the roster, back wearing number 15.
6'5", 220, former 4-star, one of the highest recruited guys, one of the highest graded freshman players to step on Bloomington's campus is back. We'll be battling for the QB2 spot with Grant Wilson and Jacob Bell, and that's it. And
throw Maverick Gesky in there too, Brad.
He's on the roster. He is the QB5.
He's on the roster. He's got a shot.
He's a PWO, and everyone gets a free shot. Yes. But he is actually 6 foot 190, Maverick Gesky, much similar to the original. It's almost like they mixed up Maverick Gesky's measurables with Josh Hoover's. It was the exact same height and weight, by the way. Noted.
Let's talk about the NFL Combine, Brad, because it is a historic combine for the Indiana Hoosiers. There were 9 guys invited to the Combine. That's the most the Indiana Hoosiers have ever had. There were some glaring omissions as well. No Kalon Black, which was very frustrating given the fact that he was at the Senior Bowl, although probably not the worst thing for him to get healthy. No Mikal Kamara, may have been even more frustrating, although you could also say the same was like we were out there for the UCLA game when Mikal got hurt and he's dealing with the shoulder injuries, and that wasn't something that just gets better the more you run into people, right? And they didn't really – they had that nice break between the Big Ten championship and the playoff, but guys like Kalon and Mikal, like they weren't really ever able to get healthy. You kind of just play through it. And so while it's personally frustrating, and no Devon Boykin either, who had, according to PFF, but also just like according to the eye test, like had an unbelievable year and very clearly, at least to this podcast, I thought showed that he could play at the next level. A little surprised that those 3 guys didn't get invites, but a historic combine for the Hoosiers nonetheless. Brad, Fernando Mendoza, Roman Hemby, Omar Cooper, Elijah Surratt, Riley Nowakowski, Pat Coogan, Aiden Fisher, Lewis Moore, and D'Angelo Pons, all going to the Combine. Your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts, it is what it is, right? It's the Combine. You don't have to get invited to the Combine to get drafted, and just because you get invited to the Combine doesn't mean you get drafted. There's about 300-something invites. There's only 250 picks. It doesn't mean you can't get drafted. What I'm concerned about, though, is, like, to your point, like, even though Mikal Kamara has the injuries, right, and that might be why he didn't get it. He seems like the most frustrating one, to where it's like that's the guy who's led the Big Ten in pressures the past, not just over 2 years, but the past 2 years over Abdul Carter, and then following the next year. Yes, the sack numbers were low, still led the conference in pressures, didn't get a Combine invite. Whether that was due to injury, who knows? He'll get his opportunity at Pro Day, and I think that's the most important thing that people forget is that every school has a Pro Day. And those are just as heavily weighted as a Combine. Combine is –
I'm glad you said that, especially Indiana's Pro Day.
Just for show. The Combine is almost just for show. It's kind of the show pony, like, oh, we're going to televise some of these guys and do some draft coverage and get people tuned into NFL Network and do all these things. And one of the more valuable things, though, about the Combine isn't necessarily the drills. I'd say that's probably the least important part. The biggest thing when it comes to the Combine and why Fernando's going and not throwing is because the interviews. The interviews are actually the most important part of the Combine process. They give you, one-on-one time with teams that are interested in you. And, you'll have that opportunity on pro days and things like that. But, not having, Devon Boykin and Kalon Black and Mikal Kamara, and I'll throw Steven Daly and Kellen White, because I feel like those are also guys like this. This team, with those 5 guys missing, this team could have up to 14 guys drafted, which is crazy to think about. Those guys don't have opportunities to have interview time with teams, which is pretty frustrating. That's probably the most important thing. It's not so much seeing them on the field. There's plenty of tape out there. There's plenty of they'll have their pro day opportunities, Wyatt and Daly excluded, but with their injuries. Yeah, it's frustrating, but it'll be fun to like I said, it's all for show, and it'll be fun to see 9 Hoosiers there. I think that's more my take on it. It's like we get to see 9 Hoosiers. We're going to see, Fisher do some drop backs and cone drills. We'll see Pons and Lou Moore get his shot too. And you're going to see, I think Coop and Surratt are probably what I'm looking forward to the most. Really looking forward to see what they run at the combine. And hopefully Hemby has a really good time. He might have a crazy time, by the way. Hemby might run 4.4 and rise up pretty quickly. It's like a kick return because he has that kick return potential too, especially with the new kickoff rules. I think he brings a lot to the game. Obviously, Mendoza not throwing, but will be interviewing with teams. Will he wow a team enough to trade up to the Raiders, a Raiders team that probably could use more draft capital to build up that roster, especially when you hear Kyler Murray is probably going to be available, right? And it just leaves a lot of unknowns, right? And Mendoza having that opportunity to not just interview with the Raiders, but also interview with other teams that might be willing to trade up for him will be super exciting. I think watching Surratt and Cooper, not so much do the catch and drills, they won't drop anything, but just seeing how they run. Coogan get his time in the shine, being able to kind of just see him next to other O-line, because that's a big dude. He's 6. He is NFL O-line body. He might be a little old, but he is O-line NFL body. He's ready now for the NFL, which is really exciting. He'll make a roster. Excited to see where he lands. Nowakowski being able to see, I think for him, being on the field is probably the most valuable because you'll be able to see him side by side with some other top prospects that aren't Indiana Hoosiers. And I think seeing that comparison, people will be able to see how athletic he is, how just versatile he is as an athlete now, which probably wasn't the case 2 years ago for him. I think he's put in a lot of work and he's gotten there. Excited to see how he runs as well. 40 times are very important. As much as they just are. Like, they are important. They're not the end all be all for me, but for these NFL teams, they are. You want corners that run 4.3. So like seeing if Pons is able to get to that number, seeing if Lou Moore is able to get to that number, seeing where Fisher measures out, I think will be really important. Like from the public eye, like obviously he'll have his pro day as well. So he'll have 2 shots at it. But I'm curious to see where Fisher lines up. Because that dude runs a 4.5. Like, whoa, man, he's going to rise up quick. So a lot of opportunity to be had. Unfortunately, we have 5 guys that we already mentioned that won't have that opportunity. But, pro day is going to be coming up. And Mendoza is going to be throwing at all of them. And EJ is going to get his shot at the pro day as well. He was never going to be, just considering his role as wide receiver 4, like just wasn't on the table for him to go to the combine. He could get drafted. I'm not ruling drafting out, but it's highly unlikely just considering his role. Like, I have no doubt that once he gets to on a 90-man, he can make a name for himself for sure. He's such a talented player. So, just so many guys to look at. It's so fun being able to just be a fan of this team and like see all of it, right? Like, these guys are representing my university and kind of setting the stage for what's going to be an NFL feeder for the next, 8+ years, right? And it's just exciting to see these guys get their opportunity. Selfishly, from an Indiana perspective, doing well for the brand, but also unselfishly for their own future in a sport that they all love and want to continue playing and have a shot to make some money doing it. The opportunity to make money playing a child game comes very rarely, and 15 guys from this championship team have a chance to do that. 9 of them got invited to Indianapolis, only an hour drive from their weight room in college. So
none of them are still in Bloomington, though.
I know. They're all home, but you know what I mean. I'm sure they'll be back in Bloomington for probably a brief hiatus before they head up there for some last minute training potentially. I'm not sure. Not sure how they're going to do it.
We will see for sure. I do know that for Pons specifically, you can follow. He's doing a path to the draft through Beyond I think it's Beyond Reality is the name of the YouTube channel. But if you go to any of D'Lo's socials, you can go check that out. I really enjoyed the fact that like you're getting to see what his process looks like, but also the fact that he's not like he's said full blown he's not giving a prediction on any time. So what you think D'Angelo Pons is going to run, or what you think he's going to do in the shuttle, or what you think he's going to like how high his vert is going to be, and he spoke with Rhett Lewis, I think it was today or yesterday on Sirius XM, and they were talking about like his vert might be in the like up around like 40, and like this three cone or the shuttle might be really good. And, but you're gonna have to tune into the combine to see it. Definitely check out.
Do you remember when they leaked the vertical measurements when they first got here? He tested like 41, 42. Like crazy number.
That was a true sophomore, Brad.
Yeah. Think about that. He's a freak, man. He's a freak. The draft. See how these guys. I'm excited because these guys probably have, much like they were most of the year, the opportunity to raise some eyebrows because they're probably still being doubted. Like especially like a Fisher is being doubted. Like they have really big opportunities to raise some eyebrows, and just excited for them. You know, Surratt's definitely probably working on his 40 pretty heavily, I'd imagine. You know, he's not a speedster, I'll tell you that. But he's a damn good football player, and I think, you know, regardless of what he runs, people are going to recognize that. And yeah, I'm just excited to see it. When is the combine?
March. I meant to go find the date, and I did. I think it's March 1st. But it's like I want to hold off on doing like the NFL, not NFL comps for these guys, but like NFL landing spots until we get a little bit closer. But it's just like so frustratingly so. Surratt seems like a Patriot. It just drives me insane.
Yeah. It seems like it would be a good fit. I mean, there's a ton of teams.
He'd be perfect anywhere. That's the thing. It's like have a receiver who's always open and doesn't drop footballs. Like, name me an NFL team that doesn't need that. Like Riley Nowakowski, like gonna do all the dirty work, like unbelievable teammate, sneaky athletic, like not sneaky athletic, like is athletic. Like, you know what I mean? It's like damn good football player. You look at these guys are good football players. Like this isn't rocket science. Sometimes it is just that easy.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, you know, these guys. I'm gonna tune in for their on-field workouts for sure, just because I'm excited. You know, it's not gonna be anything I haven't seen before. Probably not gonna be too surprised by anything, but I'm just excited to, you know, kind of just see them get their shine in the light and get some publicity on them. And does Dion still cover the combine? I remember those days where Prime would be on it, right? And he'd be on and covering all these guys. I wonder if they're gonna bring him on. I wonder if they still do that.
I don't think he still covers the combine, Brad. I got to be honest.
Damn, those were the days.
Yeah, definitely check out those guys. And D'Angelo Pons path to the draft. Follow along.